Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Sir Spam28 here, bringing you some more World of Warships live-action commentary. Still in the closed beta match. Had a slight patch last night, but just big fixes. Nothing too big. Still waiting on that 031 patch that's going to bring in both the American battleships and the Japanese aircraft carriers, as well as introduce some more new features into the closed beta. So that'll be fun. That should drop sometime, hopefully by the end of the month, if not next month. At least that's what the rumblings on the forums are. But as you can see, jumping into this match, we are in the Tier 4 Premium Japanese cruiser, the Yubari. This is quite an interesting little ship. Looking at it from the top down here, we can see that its guns, it's only got 4 of them, which is quite interesting. But they are of a pretty good caliber, and they do fire very quickly. And they have a pretty respectable turn speed as well. So the DPS of this ship's main batteries is not as low as you would think it would be. It's also, like most other Japanese cruisers, if not all of the Japanese cruisers, has torpedo armament, which is beneficial as well for evening the odds at closer ranges. So as we go ahead and start the match, I kind of paused a little bit to watch the team deploy, wait for it to develop. It looks like everyone is 11 training towards A, so I am also going to shade in this direction. I do not want to be the only ship going up the 2-3 line towards C. Just getting caught out on my own and massacred at the beginning of the match. So even though this is not a good tactical deployment from the team, it's still better to do a bad thing together than do a good thing by yourself. Because in games like this, being by yourself oftentimes means that you are singled out and destroyed before you have a chance to impact a match one way or the other. So as we continue to steam in this direction, I've got my guns off of port looking towards B, and I am gonna want to be, I think, shading in that direction. Hopefully some of the fleet starts to turn to port and starts to go towards B, and I can go there with them. But in the meantime, maybe I can catch up to the main group here and use what is the defining characteristic of this ship at Tier 4. It's AA, to shoot down some of these incoming aircraft. As they're getting closer, we'll focus fire the lead group, even though they are already under fighter attack, and we'll see if we can't catch up to those battleships and be able to put our AA guns to use. So that is really the defining characteristic of this, again, premium ship that you can purchase for real money on the World of Warships website, is that at Tier 4, it's got some of the greatest AA imaginable. We've got closer ships coming in, so we'll switch our focus fire and see if we can. The enemy team is taking the lead directly under these torpedo bombers to really, do some damage to them. It looks like they are starting their drop, so I'm actually going to turn into them because they might have been actually dropping torpedoes at me. Yep, just like that. So definitely turn to avoid those and see if, as they're starting to retreat, we can't focus fire the other group. Turn, focus fire the other group, who is also probably going to be launching torpedoes at me given that trajectory. I think these carrier drivers understand the power of this ship at Tier 4, so they're focusing me out first, which is an interesting move on them, given that I'm one of the few ships in the match, besides the Congo, that can reliably shoot down a lot of their aircraft. So to throw away aircraft, turn computer runs at me, is interesting. And now you can see he's kind of learned, he switched over to maybe a softer target, like that Miyogi. But I have been able to shoot down 3 of his planes so far, just in the time that they were in sight. And now switching our sights over to the surface craft, we have an enemy Phoenix who's turning this way, it looks like. So we'll try to put some shells over that island into him. And you'll see just the reload rate of these guns is pretty good. We've got a Yubari towards our aft there, but not too worried about him. We want to still stick with the main fleet. Looks like we've got behind us a destroyer, and a cruiser is guarding our lone aircraft carrier, which is a pretty good move. But at the same time, we're going to be 2 capped, so we need to really start turning to port and heading towards B right away while dealing with these ships that we have in front of us. He's just getting out of gun range, which is unfortunate. I mean, he might start to turn back, so I'll shoot some speculative shots. The enemy team has taken the lead in his direction. At the same time, yeah, it looks like he's turning out of our range. Nope, yep, for sure. out of our gun range. We'll focus fire these fighters, even though they pose no threat to us, as they're flying over us, just to make sure that we do the maximum amount of damage that we can to them. And there you go. Still shooting down planes. So you can see so far, haven't had the greatest impact on the surface yet, but already shot down 6 planes, which is what this cruiser can do. I'm going to let my team focus on that Phoenix. I'm really probably the only one paying attention to Yubari over here besides that destroyer. So I'm going to make sure that my guns are pointed at him. And as he comes around that island, we'll see if we can't give him some good news as we steam closer and closer to B. He's got a destroyer with him as well. So I'm actually going to cut to starboard to get around this island. Because I don't want to be, again, singled out. And now we're starting to put some good shots into him. Those probably aren't going to make it over that island, but we'll get behind this island and get some cover as well. Got a Citadel hit on him. Great. Oh, we've got a destroyer in close range here. So if he doesn't get taken out, he's going to be my priority target. Destroyers are cruisers' priority targets. I got to ignore that Yubari for now, just to get within range of this destroyer, and focus fire again on these torpedo bombers. Watch their direction, where they're coming. As my guns are swinging around to engage that destroyer, wherever he is. He might have gone down, but I don't think so, because there's lots of torpedoes there. So while waiting for him to pop up and swinging my guns around, I'll be aiming at this Omaha. Until that destroyer can pop back up again, but at the same time, he is in smoke. No one's detecting him, so I'm going to be focusing on this destroyer now, as he is close to me. And again, destroyer priority target for a cruiser, which unfortunately means that I have to swing my guns around A again, but I'm also swinging my ship around to get my guns around faster, and also to be starting to head nose into his torpedo path, because I do not, repeat, do not want to be broadside to a destroyer. That's just asking for trouble. I'm continuing focusing fire on any enemy planes that do come into range. This guy, which direction is he turning? Just to make sure that I'm doing as much damage as I can. Unfortunately, I'm close enough to this island that it's kind of a pain in the behind. But we should be able to start engaging him now. He's close enough that
enemy severely damaged.
I don't know what this destroyer's plan is, but it's obviously... Whoa, that's what his plan is. Okay, I see it now. I see what his plan is. I wasn't continuing to turn with him, which was bad idea on my part. But we're able to take him out, and now we have actually found one of their aircraft carriers. So we are on super low health, which is bad for us. But at the same time, it will take that destroyer out, and now we'll see if we can't put in some good shots for this Langley. Now, the Langley's Citadel is right below those smokestacks there, so that's where you want to be aiming with your AP shells. And yes, I do highly recommend using AP shells, even on aircraft carriers. At this point in the game, they just do way too much damage.
Our team has taken the lead.
Has run aground. So we'll launch some torpedoes into him. Launch some more torpedoes into him. Switch back to AP and see if we can't get some Citadel hits. That, so our torpedoes were actually
enemy aircraft carrier destroyed.
You can see that we've also been in B and kept B, which is helpful. There's a torpedo coming at us, so we'll go ahead and cut engine and start turning into it to avoid it. That definitely would have killed us, given the low amount of health that we're on. And now we're looking at a St. Louis over here on the other side, which is a very dangerous ship. Even, you know, all the way up to tier 5, but it looks like he's stopped for some reason, probably to avoid that torpedo spread, which should give us some pretty easy shots right into his Citadel area with these AP shells, if he doesn't die before they land, because unfortunately went a little long, and we'll Let's see what these shells do. He's starting to move again, but nope. So he went down before those shells were able to hit him. So looking at the team list, we got a Myogi over there, and they've got an aircraft carrier left, and a cruiser left, and a destroyer left. And that cruiser's a Phoenix, and the destroyer's a Grem, which is the premium Soviet destroyer. Very dangerous guns, and I'm on such low health that really anything at this point is going to be super dangerous to me. The Grem is behind me. I am within his firing range, which is scary, and the Phoenix is way to the south, so I don't have to worry about him. So the only thing I have to worry about right now is his battleship, and then probably finding and hunting down that last aircraft carrier, which probably is over in this corner behind sea, probably behind that island, in all honesty, given where the aircraft have been. So as we're coming around this island, I'll go ahead and start lining up shots on the battleship. Just get some ranging shots. He is probably preoccupied with something else, hopefully. Which means that I probably am able to get some free damage done on him, which is great for me. But we've got torpedo bombers coming in, and yep, they're coming from that direction, so that enemy aircraft carrier is definitely in this back corner. I'm going to go ahead and turn to avoid any torpedoes that might have been coming in, and see if we can't shoot down some more planes while keeping our guns focused on this battleship, who is now turning in. Those torpedoes should miss. Yep. And we want to see if we can't find that enemy carrier and take him out. I'm going to stop turning just for a moment, just so my guns can reacquire the target here. It looks like he's starting to turn away a little bit, so you can see this, the rate of fire on these guns isn't the worst. It is not the worst by any stretch of the imagination. We actually, if we sink this, yeah, that's going to be the game. We had such a good amount of points that sinking him instantly wins us the game, pushes us over that 1,000 mark, which grants us the victory. Now, this wasn't the cleanest game in the sense that I completely misread what that enemy destroyer was doing. I think, you know, I was anticipating him launching those torpedoes right as we came around the island, which is why I turned like I did. But it seems like he was waiting on his reload, and so he launched them from an unexpected angle, and I just wasn't really respecting him enough. But this is still a tier 4 ship. It's still a light cruiser, so I was able to maneuver fast enough to avoid some of the torpedoes, but still got hit by a bunch of them, which brought me down to very low health, but was able to take him out before he could finish me off. And that's a difference between a Japanese destroyer and an American destroyer. American destroyer at that range could have done the exact same thing with the torpedoes, but then instantly finished me off with his guns. But the Japanese destroyer probably couldn't just bring his guns to bear, given at the proximity that we were and the turn rate of his guns. So kind of got away with one there, but at the same time, you can see just the power of this ship's AA at these low tiers. 16 planes shot down in that match, which is a pretty fantastic result for a tier 4 ship. That's a good result for a tier 10 ship, shooting down 16 planes in a match. So nothing to be too mad about. Looking at the guns, 29 target hits. Unfortunately, at the beginning of the match, our team kind of lemming trained, so we are at the rear of the action, which worked out for intercepting the flight paths of the enemy planes, but not so much at getting good hits on target. So only 29 hits with our main guns, but you can see 4 Citadel hits, so able still to get some good damage done. 2 ships destroyed, and we are able to capture B back from the enemy. Taking a look at the team score, and second in that match, the Allied Grem, which is just a fantastic ship, finished first. But we were right behind him, only 200 experience behind him. This is a 1600 base experience game, which isn't a great game, but it's a good game. I consider that a pretty good game. So I'm not too displeased with this result, and I think this game really showed off just the AA capabilities of this premium cruiser, the Yubari. Just really able to shred planes. You're looking at like 15 torpedo bombers shot down, and then 1 fighter for, you know, flavor. But 15 torpedo bombers shot down. I don't play aircraft carriers, but that's pretty close to being a full complement of torpedo bombers from a Langley. So we're able to, as the match went on, almost neutralize one aircraft carrier's entire torpedo bomber capability, which I think really had a big impact, especially since we got about half of those right at the very beginning of the match. We were able to shoot down those planes right out of the gate. The first run that they made, we were able to shoot them down, which takes away that capability as the match goes on. So it's kind of a force multiplying effect. If you're able to shoot down planes early, it's a lot more effective than shooting them, or I should say it has a much bigger impact on the game than shooting down planes in the later stages of the game. Because a plane shot down at the beginning of the match is a plane that's missing for the entire rest of the match. It's a torpedo that's not in the water on the subsequent torpedo runs. Now, obviously, carriers have backup planes that they use to refill their squadrons, but still burning through those backup planes means that then, as you're subsequently shooting down planes, those backup planes aren't there anymore. So it's just burning resources early, which is a good thing. So, not too displeased with this result. As you can see, looking at more damage numbers, only 23,000 damage done with the primary shells. Again, this wasn't so much a surface-to-surface battle as it was really just showing off the AA capabilities of this ship. Got close enough to fire our secondary batteries. We did fire a torpedo spread at that beached carrier, but we were actually able to get Citadel hits on him with our guns and take him out before those torpedoes got a chance to hit. Didn't much with the damage received, which is still pretty buggy, but it looks like this is pretty accurate. Did get hit with 2 torpedoes for most of our health, which was, again, just me not respecting that destroyer enough and kind of misreading his play, which sometimes happens, but again, got lucky with that. Didn't sink. We're able to avoid, anything that would have killed us afterwards. I think we were only on like 900 health. And looking at the credits and experience, again, 2,400 base experience. That's not, that's times and a half. So that's premium. 1,600 base experience, regular. Running the premium account, 2,400 base experience, which is nice. And then for the first win of the day, that gets, that gets upped to 3687. I'm misreading these numbers here, but you get the point. Going back to this more uncomplicated screen. This more uncomplicated screen. A 1,600 base experience is what I've been trying to say. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this match. This was a look at the Tier 4 Premium Japanese Light Cruiser, the Yubari. Again, this is a real money premium ship available for purchase on the World of Warships website. Buying any of the real money premium ships, or in fact buying the pack that gets you all 3 real money premium ships, also gets you into the closed beta. That's something that they've kind of thrown in there to bolster the numbers, and I would argue to obviously get money for people buying these premium ships. Now, even though there is going to be a hard wipe in between the closed and open beta, any real world money that you spend will be given back to you in the open beta. And indeed, these premium ships that you buy now in the closed beta will be instantly reappearing in your port in the open beta, as well as the premium time and the gold that your money gives you as well. So you don't lose anything by spending real money during the closed beta. All of that is given back to you in the open beta as well. You do, however, lose any progress on these ships. So all the progress is going to be wiped, even on the premium ships. But you still get to keep the premium ships, and you keep the gold and the premium time when you go into the open beta and into the real game. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Yubari is a pretty decent ship. I would say it's probably the weakest of the 3 premium ships, but it still is effective, as you can clearly see. You just got to be aware of its greatest strength, which is its fantastic anti-aircraft capability, and use that to your advantage. And its guns are nothing to sneeze at either, so it can hold its own on the surface, but its AA is just fantastic. So again, probably the weakest of the 3 premiums, and videos on the other 2 should be coming out in the near future. But still, all in all, a pretty fantastic ship, and I would say worth the price for sure. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.